So after much anticipation, Sonic Mania is finally here. And what do I think of it? Well, I'm about to tell you, after all this is a review. Sonic Mania is a 2D Sonic the Hedgehog title in which Sonic, Tails and Knuckles must blast through 12 zones in order to stop the evil Dr. Eggman from using his newfound purple gem thingy for, well, it's not really clear, but I assume take over the world! This game can be best described as a massive celebration of all things classic about Sonic, as it features tons of old zones utterly reimagined and improved upon, alongside a couple of extra new zones too. The old zones that have been ripped right out of the old games generally take a lot of cues from their original counterparts, however the level design here is completely new. Green Hill Zone, for example, is no longer a small linear run to the end. It is now a massive area in which you have tons of routes to choose from and explore, much in a closer way to Sonic 3 and Knuckles. In fact, all of this game's level design is utterly insane, with an extremely high level of complexity. Every single zone has so many routes available to take, it can honestly be a little overwhelming to some. To add to the zone complexity too, the game also utilises the various shields that have been present in Sonic 3 in new and interesting ways in certain zones. For example, the lightning shield will now attract magnets in Flying Battery, or the fire shield will destroy bridges in Green Hill Zone. And the bubble shields, actually I don't think I've found anything really interesting about that one, to be honest. No new shields are added to this game sadly, but what is new is Sonic's brand new drop dash ability. This allows Sonic to rev up in mid-jump to cause himself to spin dash off upon landing. When I first knew about this ability, my initial thoughts were along the lines of, I probably won't use this much. I couldn't have been further from the truth. I use this new ability constantly throughout, and it's a fun and easy way to keep the flow moving in stages. No longer do I have to awkwardly stop the spin dash, now all I have to do is jump and blast off! Of course it is a lot weaker than the spin dash itself, so there's still utility in the original move. So there are plenty of instances where I would elect to use the spin dash over this new ability. Tails and Knuckles don't really get many extra abilities on top of their standard movesets, however. They are exactly as they were back in Sonic 3 all those years ago. So, are there any new power-ups at all, you may ask? Well, not really, but the game does have a combined ring power from Knuckles' Chaotix returning, which groups your rings up into larger clumps for easy retrieval. The Chaos Emeralds also make a return here too, folks, and are handled exactly as they were in Sonic 3. Within each zone, there are various giant rings that you can find and jump into. Upon doing this, you get warped to the Special Zone, in which the gameplay style changes drastically. These special zones are best described as a combination of all the special zones from Sonic 1 to 3 and CD, as you must chase down a UFO on a 3D plane just like in the aforementioned Sonic CD, all the while collecting blue spheres in order to increase your speed from Mark 1 up until Mark 3 so that you are able to catch up. Within these stages there are tons of rings too, which are absolutely necessary to collect in order to get the Chaos Emerald successfully, as your rings serve as your time limit. They go down every second, and if you run out of time, well, you fail to catch the Chaos Emerald, and you will need to try again at a later time. The key to success here is focusing on collecting rings first and foremost, and then move on to learning each track and collect as many blue spheres as possible, while trying to avoid the obstacles and pits that lie in your way. To put it bluntly, I freaking adore these special stages. They are exceptionally fun to blast through. However, the controls do take a little getting used to here, as your jumping also mainly serves as the primary way to take tight corners. So the first few times playing through the stages may give you some trouble, but once you adjust to things, these are fun as hell. And yes, it goes without saying, getting all of the Chaos Emeralds grant you the game's good ending when playing as Sonic, and also allow access to the true final boss as well as each of the characters' super forms. Though sadly, the true final boss can only be accessed as Sonic, which is a bit of a shame in my opinion. Aside from these special zones, bonus stages also make a reappearance in the form of blue spheres that are returning from Sonic 3. In these, the objective hasn't been changed at all. Grab the blue spheres and ignore the red in order to clear the stage. If you're able to collect all of the stage's rings first, then you will also be able to receive a perfect bonus. Clearing these will reward you with medallions. These come in either gold or silver depending on whether you perfected the stage or not. And these are what are used to get basically all of the game's unlockables, such as extra moves and modes. Though it doesn't really matter which medallion type you get, so gold is mainly for bragging rights. Unfortunately, the rewards you get can only be accessed via no save mode, which, while a little understandable, I can see being rather saddening to some folk. Graphically, everything here is bloody gorgeous to look at, with everything looking like it was ripped right out of the 32-bit era. The visuals on display here essentially would have fit perfectly on the Sega Saturn, especially for the special zones with that low poly character model look. There are also an absolute ton of small touches that many Sonic fans would love to see here too, such as Sonic's goggles while he's in the tornado, if anyone knows about the beta sprites of Sonic 1, or Tails' headgear ripped right out of the Sonic OVA, among many others that I won't spoil in this review because they're best to be seen if you're a Sonic fan. On top of this, the soundtrack is without a doubt exceptional. All of the classic Zone tunes have been gloriously updated, with all the new Zone tunes fitting perfectly and they feel right at home here. The game itself, however, while it's solid, is prone to a couple of bugs here and there. I have had audio glitches happen quite often. The biggest example of this is the music cutting out, or the jumping sound effect being replaced by ring collecting sound effects. Which I don't, but that drove me mad. I even managed to glitch into the walls of a level twice, one of which forced me to have to restart the zone because I couldn't get back out. These are pretty rare occurrences though, and for the most part, everything is pretty damn stable. Ultimately, Sonic Mania is a classic Sonic fan's dream come true, with exceptional art, sound and level design, with the only major gripe I have being the lack of new zones in comparison to the old ones. But assuming this game is successful, which it damn well better be, I think it's safe to say a sequel with original content would just be around the corner. Overall, Sonic fan or not, I heavily recommend this game to everyone. The team clearly has put a lot of love and effort behind this game, and have proven that they know just what makes these games tick.